Here's the little guy's motorcycle. Alright, this is gonna be part 3. We're here, we're home, we're safe. The actual driving. Hi, Valishka. It is so much warmer here than it is in Nebraska. But anyways, still don't got rear brakes. I was unable to fix them. I rolled the dice and I didn't get it on my time. Hey, Valera. Motorcycle. They love motorcycles. I don't know if you guys caught that. But we got to visit an Indian dealership on the way. The actual trip was uneventful. While I did change my oil, I changed my cap and rotor, I did some work to the car, and then my buddy, he had this dead-end highway out in hundreds of acres of farm, and he's like, hey, you gotta race my Lexus. So you get to see this old Pontiac hit 150 miles an hour. Not that I can, recommend street racing, but if you're gonna do it where there's not really a street, just dead nowhere and without people. Well, anyways, we had a lot of fun. We got to see a little bit of the country, not too much. From Nebraska to North Carolina straight, there's not a whole lot going on. St. Louis was pretty quiet. I was hoping it would be that way, and it stayed that way. And enjoy this episode. I'm sure y'all have a lot of fun. All right, well, Happy New Year's, guys. And I'm off to head to a party. We're all dressed up and stuff, and I have an unusual problem. As you may have seen, when the car is warm, it starts right up. But when it's cold, I have something going on with my starter. I've shimmed it up and down and nothing helps. It's not an alignment issue. I don't know what it is. But long story short, when the starter's cold, it doesn't engage the flywheel. So here I am, it's 10 degrees outside in the middle of Nebraska, and I have to use this stupid little camping stove to torch my starter to get it to start. Otherwise it would just spin and spin and spin, and literally 2-3 dozen tries later it would not do anything. But if I heat it up, it'll start. So I'm looking to replace the starter as soon as I get back to North Carolina. Meanwhile, I don't know, if you got any suggestions, let me know. It might not be the starter, it might be the wire. Alright, well, upon changing, or trying to change my plug last night, the car wouldn't start. The whole blowtorch thing helped get the starter to crank the flywheel. I got this really weird problem. I gotta figure it out. It might be the wire, it might be a solenoid or whatever. The guy at the parts store was like, oh yeah, these cars, these big motors, they might need a double solenoid or some shit. And I was like, well, I mean, they started fine 45 years ago with stock parts. What's the issue now? So he's like, oh, I don't know. So anyways, if you guys help me out, that would be greatly appreciated, because it's really annoying to be on your butt when it's like 10 degrees outside, blowtorching your starter just so it could start. Starter rotates, but the solenoid doesn't throw it hard enough to engage the flywheel unless it's warm. So it's never an issue in the summer, but in the winter or some damp conditions it is. Also, while I was trying to change my plugs, I found out that I bought plugs for a 68 Firebird, which don't work because my heads are off a 77 Firebird. They're 6X Pontiac heads. After 71, Pontiac switched from a gasket seat to a tapered seat. So I always forget, because it's such a long period between changing plugs. Here's something, when I'm changing cap and rotor out, you don't have to do your timing or nothing, but a quick tip is unplug 7 wires and leave wire number 1. Different manufacturers have a different number 1, obviously, on the cap. This is my old cap, so I transferred it real quick. So when I come back there, all I gotta do is look on my phone or on a piece of paper the firing order. On a Pontiac, it's the same as a Chevy, just reversed. And I'll plug all my wires again. I don't have to guess, where my rotor's at. Rotor's simple. There's only one way it'll go on. It has a little nipple slot right here, and it'll go on one way. There's no mistake in the rotor. But if you leave one wire on and pull it off the actual plug, and then pull the other 7 off the cap, you'll always have that one wire, and you don't have to re-find it. And then all you got to do is just triple check your timing, and then you're good to go. You're not retiming everything from scratch, which is an absolute pain in the ass. Anybody who's done it knows. And hopefully we'll get this started. The plugs were just plain out worn out. They were gone. So once I bought the right plugs that were taper seat, I replaced them. I've read a lot, and I've read everything under the sun, spent hours reading, and I've come to the conclusion that there's really no use for a high-end plug, because all it does is last longer. But whatever the manufacturer specification, for GM it's AC Delco, for Honda it's NGK, and so on and so on. Whatever the stock plug is, it'll provide you your best reliability, and more than likely also the hottest hottest spark is provided by the simplest plug. Just make sure you change them on time, because they don't last very long. So yeah. I went inside and grabbed some hot tea. Ignoring the double barrel in my car. That's for a different reason altogether. There is a little camping stove that's been sitting on my starter for, you can't really see it. It's an isobutane mix, so it works in the cold. And it's been heating up my starter. Like I've said before, I have this issue with this starter. Luckily they're lifetime warranty, so I'm gonna break it and go take it to Advance Auto and be like, yo, give me your starter. But it might not be the starter, so I don't want to, waste their time. But I don't have a choke on this carburetor. As you guys know, I switched to a bigger carburetor. I already gave it 4 or 5 pumps, and this was with new plugs and new tap and rotor, and it's not that cold. Like 30, it may be 32. I mean, it's a lot warmer than it was yesterday. 2 pumps, that way you get a little bit of gas in the car, and then I might have to give it one more pump. See, the hard part about starting this giant American motor is without a choke, it won't run smooth until it starts sucking fuel through through all the circuits. So it's a fine line between giving it not enough pumps, because you see it died, a few dozen revolutions, and too many pumps to where it floods out, and then you gotta wait for it to clear all the plugs and then do it over again. So now we're gonna go see our friends in this thing and quit driving our in-laws Toyota Corolla. And don't worry, this thing's got heat. I don't know how well it does on ice, but we'll figure it out. Well, these tires actually turns out aren't too bad in the ice. They're shit for drag racing, but I guess not everything's about drag racing. our adventures continue. We just had a lot of fun with my friend here, and then changed the oil in the bird. There was no water in the oil. That's good news. Anyways, I got some rabbits for the in-laws. My little in-law brothers love rabbit meat and other whatnot, so I had to bust out the shotgun, make sure I wasn't rusty. Out in the middle of nowhere and who knows where. But been a lot of fun, so now we're on our way home. Cooking up some of that rabbit meat with the heart and the liver and some onions and salt. Nothing fancy. Getting some food for the road. Well, some interesting food for the road. My brother-in-law, he trying to do something with one of the pelts. Good luck to him. Hey, if anything, he'll learn, right? Nothing like a young man being productive. Well, hope you all had happy holidays, and now it's time for us to head back to North Carolina and continue our work, and come springtime, hopefully get some racing in. These gears aren't too bad. 256s aren't really hurting my car much because of the torque. Well, 0 to 30, it sucks. After that, it really hauls ass. So we'll see how it works out. Hopefully it's less adventuresome on the way home. Alright, well, the rabbit's cooked. Some onions. Liver's cooked. It's cooked thoroughly with some oil and some water and some home potatoes. And the missus gets to try it. I already tried the liver. It's really good. Is it good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like really good chicken. We need to shoot more rabbits.
Yeah.
Well, now it's my turn to try it, and I've been eating it, and it is amazing. I need to shoot more rabbits. That's what I've concluded. The liver is awesome. It goes really well with potatoes. And the meat is... I mean, it's not my first time eating rabbit. It's been a while. It's like tough chicken, and I love it. It is so good. It's not soggy, boring store chicken. Alright, well, we're packed. Man, it is cold today. It's like 10 degrees. That's so weird. That one window's not frozen. But I got all the crap back on the car. This time I packed a little better. Thanks, guys, for the suggestions. There is nothing heavy on my back deck. I don't know if you could see, but my heads, you know, lots of lead, whatever. Everything's in the trunk, which, oh boy, that's gonna suck. But yeah, time to start it. All right. Pump the accelerator, get some gas in the manifold. Ah, great. Other shit again. Hold on. There she goes. God damn. Damn near had to flood it just to get it to run for a couple dozen RPM. Man, that took a lot of cranks. You could hear it starting to die. It's gonna be a little bit before it picks up and all the circuits, everything start working in the carburetor. That's why you gotta get the gas so much without that stupid choke. The choke helps because it sucks gas through the ports. Or you can use a rag. But oh, there it goes. Gotta start it again. Oh. Choke would take care of that, but I don't have one, so. Oh, killed it. Alright. Yeah, see, now it's running steady. Man, am I glad I changed out the ignition and the spark plugs and all that. Because then it'd be a hell of a lot harder to start without all that new stuff. Running good now though. Now we gotta drink some tea while it warms up and off we go. We had to stop by, rest our feet, and stretch them out. Well, these little guys running around at the motorcycle dealership. Unfortunately, they have no Scouts. They got some cool 111s with the weird 3 cams. Lila. But no Scouts. All right, well, off we go.